In the heart of Bangalore, where old-world charm meets modern life, stood a grand mansion in Richmond town. To passers-by, it was just another upscale home tucked behind tall walls and iron gates. But behind those walls, buried beneath the very earth of the courtyard, was a secret so horrifying it would haunt the country for years. This is the story of Shakereh Khaleeli, a woman born into royalty whose life ended in betrayal, silence, and a grave built by the man she loved. Shakereh was no ordinary woman. She was the granddaughter of Sir Mirza Ismail, one of India's most respected Diwans, a man who had shaped the cities of Mysore, Jaipur, and Hyderabad. Her family was wealthy, powerful, and deeply respected. After marrying Akbar Khaleeli, a high-ranking Indian diplomat, she lived a life of global travel and prestige. They had 4 daughters, but behind closed doors, the marriage struggled, and eventually, Shakereh chose to divorce. A bold move in conservative circles at the time. Soon after, she met a man who introduced himself as Swami Shraddhananda, a calm, soft-spoken spiritual leader with a soothing presence. His real name was Murali Manohar Mishra. He promised wisdom, healing, and stability. And slowly, he began to win her trust. Shakereh, vulnerable yet strong, fell in love again, and eventually married him. What she didn't know was that this man had no spiritual truth to offer, only calculated plans and deadly intentions. On April 28, 1991, Shakereh vanished. No note, no warning, no goodbye. Shraddhananda told the family that she had chosen a life of isolation, that she had gone on a spiritual retreat and wanted no contact. He insisted she had cut ties with the world to pursue peace. For a while, her family believed him. But as months turned into years, that silence became too loud to ignore. She missed weddings, birthdays, even her own mother's funeral. Her eldest daughter, Saba, knew something wasn't right. In 1993, she filed a habeas corpus petition in the Karnataka High Court, demanding the police investigate her mother's whereabouts. It was this action that finally pulled back the curtain on Shraddhananda's lies. When police began investigating, they noticed something odd at the Richmond town mansion. A portion of the courtyard had been freshly cemented. It stood out. When they questioned Shraddhananda, his answers were vague, cold, suspicious. The police decided to dig. Beneath the concrete was a wooden box, carefully crafted, sealed, and hidden. When they pried it open, a wave of putrid air rushed out. Inside were skeletal remains, still adorned with bangles, rings, and fragments of fine silk. It was Shakereh. But the autopsy revealed something even more disturbing. She had been buried alive. Shraddhananda had sedated her, likely with sleeping pills mixed in tea. As she lost consciousness, he placed her into the box, which he had constructed and stored in the garage weeks earlier. He nailed it shut, lowered it into the pit, and buried her beneath 6 feet of earth. Then, he poured cement over the grave, placed a sofa above it, and continued to live in the house as if nothing had happened. He watched television, entertained guests, and even wore Shakereh's clothes and jewelry. Her death had been carefully planned, because he wanted her fortune. Before her disappearance, Shakereh had transferred several properties to his name, amounting to over 20 crore rupees, more than $5 million at the time. For greed, he buried a woman alive. When the truth came out, India was shocked. The case was unlike anything the public had ever heard. It wasn't just the cruelty of the crime, it was the method, the motive, and the coldness. Shraddhananda was arrested in 1994. The trial that followed captivated the nation. In 2005, he was sentenced to death. But in 2008, the Supreme Court of India commuted his sentence to life imprisonment, citing the delay in carrying out the execution and invoking human dignity. He remains in prison to this day. This case became a landmark in Indian criminal history. It was the first time that video footage of an exhumation was used in court as evidence. It also set a precedent for forensic investigations and legal proceedings across the country. But most importantly, it was a story about a daughter's refusal to accept silence. Had Saba not spoken up, not insisted something was wrong, Shakereh might still be lying beneath that courtyard, unknown, unheard, and unmourned. In 2023, the case returned to public consciousness with the Amazon Prime docuseries Dancing on the Grave, which revisited the story in chilling detail, giving new generations a glimpse into one of India's most shocking murders. The story of Shakereh Khaleeli is not just about violence. It's about how evil can wear a calm face. It's about how trust can be manipulated. And above all, it's about how truth, no matter how deeply buried, always finds a way to rise.